Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this massive news. We've got so much to go through, so many stories, but obviously we have to start with the Netflix deal. I know this is everywhere and everyone's talking about it. I'm going to try and bring as much detail as I can because more details have emerged as the hours have gone by, and so I've tried to gather together the stuff that I think is the most interesting. So this is a 5-year deal and it is for Raw, and you can see The Rock is now a part of the board of directors. That was also announced today, so he's been added to the TKO family. That just strengthens that relationship, and what an ambassador that is to have. You know, what a person that is to have for your brand. He was obviously already connected heavily with WWE, but now he's actually being added to the board of directors. You know, all of a sudden it's a lot more in his interest to be around and to be talking about WWE and talking about TKO. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of The Rock going forwards. He's also now got the full rights to use his name independently to WWE, so he can be The Rock on his movie posters now and any other projects that he wants to be a part of. He can use the name The Rock. That's also a little thing that has come out of today's news. So Netflix are paying $5 billion for the next 10 years to have Raw. They're only getting Raw. The library is staying over on Peacock in the US. I believe it's still staying on the WWE network here in the UK. This deal is only about Raw. It does mean another subscription service that people are going to have to sign up for. And I know that's probably the big concern people have got. I do kind of share that concern, I suppose, but it's not the biggest deal for me because I'm sure there's a subscription service I can cut somewhere. I'm pretty much signed up to all of them anyway, I think. But yeah, $5 billion for 10 years. They get Raw in, well, everywhere. The US, the UK, Latin America, international markets. So this is a different deal than the sort of deals we've been seeing before, because a lot of those previous deals were only for America, like SmackDown going to the USA Network or NXT going to the CW Network, right? This one affects the globe. This one affects the world, and I think that's why the price is so high. $5 billion over the next 10 years. It's also worth mentioning that they can cut it short. If it's not working, I think Netflix can actually cut this deal down by half. If it is working, I think they've also got the option to extend by another 10 years. So lots of information around this deal emerging and continuing to emerge. One of the other things as well, and I don't know if people thought about this, but Netflix obviously is commercial free for a lot of people. There is a level that is cheaper where you still get commercials. So that is quite confusing because it means Raw is going to have to put on a program that's going to have to cater to people that are watching commercials and people that don't watch commercials. And you can see this quote here from CNBC. Matches will be scripted around those commercial breaks to satisfy ad-free customers who will see continued action from the matches. Now, this sounds amazing. It is not, right? Basically, what they're saying is that when we have to go to a commercial, then we'll go to commercial. For those people that don't go to commercial, they will continue to watch the matches. All sounds good, but look at this last bit here. It says they will see action that's not important to the outcome, such as a wrestler in a sustained headlock. So what they're basically saying is that we're never going to finish a match during a commercial break, and the action that you're going to see is stuff that's not going to be important to the outcome, such as a wrestler in a headlock. Now, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed here. Really keep my fingers crossed. This is probably the biggest issue I've got. the action continues to be at a decent pace. I watch AEW on Fight TV, and so that means I don't go to commercial breaks. So in America, when they're going to commercial, I stay with the action, and I can tell you the matches die. The pace slows down. The moveset becomes pretty much non-existent. It's slow. It's plodding. It can really take you out of the match. I really think this is a potential problem here. This is something that could really, I think, ruin the Raw watching experience if they don't get it right. So they've got to find the right balance here where they're not giving away the ending of matches or any kind of, big moments. I mean, I suppose when we come back from commercial break, you could always go, here's what you saw during, or here's what you missed during the commercial break. You could always do that. But how much are they going to want to do that? Is that going to be something they're going to do a lot of going forward? It really could be. It really could be. This, to me, is a big, big issue. What do we do during those commercial breaks, especially when a lot of people won't be going to commercial breaks? A little transcript here from a Nick Khan interview. Just wanted to highlight this. He says, if we stay on Monday, then it'll work. If we move to a different day, we think that'll work too. So certainly seems like they're not 100% what day they're going to get, but I think they would want to keep it on a Monday. I think it would make a lot of sense. Obviously, Monday Night Raw, people are just so used to wrestling on a Monday, Raw on a Monday. To change days is going to be tricky, I think, but that right there is the answer. It kind of says to me they're not quite sure yet, but they think they can make it work on any day. Talking of The Rock, so The Rock has not signed yet for WrestleMania. This is coming from Dave Meltzer. It's absolutely in play, but not a done deal. He does want WrestleMania this year. There is a focus of how much value he could bring to Saudi Arabia. There's balls in play, but nothing is 100%. There are people who would like to convince him that they could make a ton of extra money if they did it in Saudi Arabia. And we don't know the answers. It's all in the works right now. He's looking to do the match with Roman. He is absolutely looking to do it at WrestleMania, but nothing is yet signed. So The Rock wants Roman at WrestleMania. WWE, I think, would like to convince The Rock of doing it in Saudi Arabia. This, I think, is really, really interesting because obviously this massively affects Cody. If they can convince Rock to do that match in Saudi, then that means that we get Cody Roman at WrestleMania. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. So I think that would mean that Roman's title reign would come to an end at WrestleMania. And then we can do Rock Roman as just an attraction match at Saudi Arabia later in the year. So obviously we're going to have to wait and see what The Rock decides. He's obviously a big player. He's on the board of directors. We're going to have to see what he thinks. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know which way this is going to go. This is definitely a story to keep an eye on. I love this. Look at this. I sent this out. This to me is now the greatest WWE meme I've ever seen. If ever WWE do anything good, if ever Triple H does any good booking decision, then that is the clip that needs to be tweeted out, right? If WWE ever succeed in anything, I expect to see this all over my timeline. Look at it. It is the greatest. And then the final bit of news that we've got is this. So Okada, WWE bound. Now, I don't know this source, Monthly Purorisu, or however you pronounce that. But apparently it's a pretty major news source in Japan. So they're saying that they think Okada is going to WWE, potentially heading to NXT first. Now, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know how reliable this source is. All I can tell you is that it's being picked up and circulated. The last we heard is that WWE wanted him, but AEW were believed to have put in the best first offer. Okada, I believe, is around 36. If he went to NXT, that would make a lot of sense. I don't think NXT is an issue. I've said before, NXT is developmental, but people don't know Okada. You could put Okada out there on the main roster. He's going to come out to largely crickets, right? People don't know him. People don't watch New Japan. They don't follow Japanese wrestling en masse. Yes, there are definitely wrestling fans that do, and I know many in our community do. But we are smart fans, right? We are people that are living and breathing this. The majority of people that go to work, come back, watch WWE on their TV, and that is it. They have no interaction with Japanese wrestling. So I think for Okada to come over, learn the kind of the way it works in WWE, learn how to hit the cues that they've got, learn the different kind of terminology that they use, learn the expectations that they've got, and, you know, get himself really set in the system, get himself ready for Raw and SmackDown, then I think that makes a lot of sense. It also helps those fans that don't know him get to know him. I'm sure the NXT crowd will lose their mind. NXT, that's a lot of smart fans. That's a lot of people like you and me. But I think we've seen with the likes of Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, we've seen so many people go from NXT to the main roster and not get the reactions we thought they would. This to me makes a lot of sense. This is where Asuka went. This is where Shinsuke went. This is where Finn Balor went when he came over from New Japan. So the NXT thing doesn't worry me. I think it's the right move. But it's just, is this true? Is Okada coming to WWE? If he is, wow. Wow. That to me would be every bit as big as the Netflix news. So, yeah, so much news. I hope you got a bit from that. So to recap, NXT is going to go to the CW network in October. SmackDown goes to the USA network in October. And WWE RAW moves to Netflix in January of 2025. The difference is, though, RAW moves to Netflix for all of us around the world. So today's news, as we said, absolutely huge. We did already touch on it, but just looking at the what's happening thing, you can see Raw is trending, you can see Okada is trending, Kevin Patrick is trending, but we did talk about that and touch on that last night in the Unseen video. It looks like that news is confirmed. Kevin Patrick is done as commentator on SmackDown. But again, if you watched our Unseen video from last night, you already had heard that news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.